Welcome back. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to the Scouting Report. For those of you still with us, thank you so much for waiting. I'm so sorry about that. Gotten a lot of feedback over the last, oh my gosh, it's been nearly a year. That can't be right. It might have been, oh my gosh. Scott, where's the podcast? What's going on with the podcast? Where have you been? How come you're not doing the podcast anymore? What's going on? Guys, it's been a huge, long break. My company that I started, nil.empire, whoop, whoop. I've been really focused on that, and finally I'm at a place where I can now dedicate a little time back to the podcast. This is my passion. I really love this. I love getting to interview guys and, just share their stories so that you're not just aware of what they're doing on, Saturdays and Sundays, and every time they dunk a basketball, you can actually hear from them and get have a conversation and learn about their lives. And guys, again, I'm very sorry for the long break, but we are back. I know I've said it before, and I will say it again. I am back, baby. So let's just kind of talk about updates, right? I just mentioned I started a company, nil.empire. If you are an athlete who is in college or is about to be in college and you want help with marketing, if you want help with social media, if you want to get some NIL deals, if you want to secure some bags, if you want to help negotiating against the college that's about to offer you some money to play for them, if you want help in the transfer portal and you're trying to make a little money by going to a different school, get to a better situation for yourself, if you need help with any of that, I have done it all. I can help you through the process. Come talk to me. I will explain how I'm able to help you, why you should work with me. Guys, it's been an incredible journey so far, and we are just getting started. This upcoming season for football and for basketball is going to be so incredible. The football season's already going great, and the basketball season is so crazy exciting. All the hype surrounding all these guys that are about to go nuts. I am freaking pumped. Let's go. LFG, it's time. So that is a big part of why I've not been doing the Scouting Report, as consistently as I'd like to. But now I think I've gotten to a very good point where I can manage both. So here we are. Today is a very special episode. This is the first non-athlete that I am bringing onto the show. Technically, he's not an athlete because he never played college athletics. However, in my fraternity, he did play soccer, basketball, flag football. Schiff was a little bit of an animal on the fields. So anyway, this is Jordan Schiff. Schiff is, I call him Schiff, but you can call him Jordan, you can call him whatever. He's one of my best friends in the whole world. I love this guy to death. He's like a brother to me. He is also the co-producer, de facto director, audio engineer. He is the emperor of audio production. He is the reason this podcast sounds so good. If it doesn't sound good, you can either blame my voice or you can blame him for everything else. So feel free to do that. No big deal. Just drop it in the comments what you hate about his audio production. We'd love to hear about it. And aside from, being my buddy and helping us with the podcast, Jordan has his own audio production company. It's called Central Park Sound. Go check him out on Instagram. Go check him out. His website is centralparksound.com. He does all sorts of stuff. Does audiobooks with people. He helps people's bands. He will go to concert venues and make the sound that you're hearing live. He'll make that sound clean and crisp. This guy, he went to Full Sail. It's the top audio school in the country. He is just a whiz when it comes to this stuff. So when I told him, hey, I want to have a podcast, he was the first person I called. And I said, I got an idea. I want to interview my guys. I want to interview some of the athletes that I know. What do you think? And he goes, it's a great idea. Why are you calling me? I go, listen, I need help with the audio stuff. I don't know how this works. I don't know. Do I get a microphone? Can I do it on my computer? Tell me what to do. And he just started telling me what to do. And now he's just basically in charge of it because it makes the most sense. We're going to get into today on the pod. I'm going to ask him a few things. About a year ago, he got married and I was the best man at his wedding. I gave a 5-minute speech where I lit him up most of the time. Most of what I said was pretty kind, but at the same time, I was definitely throwing him jabs left and right. So one of my questions to him is about if he remembers anything specific from that jabbing toast. And I'm going to ask him about some of the new ventures that he's embarking on. He and his wife, who is absolutely lovely, by the way. Shout out, Jenn. They are creating content, and it's very cool. And I want to plug that. So I'm going to get into that with him later today as well. And then he is a Bills fan. So bringing it back to sports, the guy just went to the Bills versus the Dolphins game in Buffalo, where he grew up. And, I'm just excited to get him on the pod. Again, that's my guy. If you know me well, you know the name Schiff. And so I'm really excited about this episode, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, thank you so much for waiting and being patient with me. And that's it. Let's get right into it. All right. Thanks so much, and hope you enjoy this great conversation with the wonderful, the talented, the almost as tall as me, Jordan Schiff. Jordan Schiff, welcome to the pod.
Scott?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited for obviously
excited.
a lot. Well, I'm more excited. It's not a competition, but you wouldn't get close. Obviously, it's great to get you on the pod. It's great to have the pod just up and running again. But mostly, you're my best bud. This is so exciting. I get to bring you in. You've been such an integral part, which I've already talked about, such an integral part of this podcast coming to life in general. And so this is really just kind of a culmination of all of these little things that we've been talking about for a long time. Today is Tuesday, October 3rd. We're hoping to even release this as early as today, later today, even though it's already early afternoon. We'll see what happens. Not going to rule anything out, are we?
No, what? Absolutely not. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you for finally having me on.
It's long overdue. So first of all, Jordan, you are coming to us today from your home studio in
hmm
New York. What's the weather like in New
Oh,
York today?
the weather today is beautiful. It's like in the 70s, sunny, no clouds in the sky. It's a nice day.
Great. We've already talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to, kind of cut off that conversation so that we could kind of have more of it live here today, and I
Yeah.
wasn't redoing it. But you just had a trip to Buffalo. You went
Yeah,
to a football game where
I
the Buffalo
did.
Bills played the Miami Dolphins. You also went to a hockey game. Sabres,
I
who they
did.
play?
They played the Columbus Blue Jackets in a preseason showdown.
Love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so what I want to do is go through your entire trip. So if you could
Yeah.
start us out with a little timeline, and then I'm gonna just poke in questions here in there. So
Okay.
when
So
did you
yeah.
leave?
Left at 8 a.m. Saturday morning.
How long is the drive from you're on the west side of
hmm
Manhattan to
hmm
Buffalo? How far is that on at
So
an
we
8 a.m. on a
actually
Saturday?
we stopped in Rochester first to pick up my uncle and cousin because they
Right.
came with us, which is about like an hour 15 closer than Buffalo is. So it took us like 5.5 hours maybe to get there and get them.
Okay.
Um,
Shout out Tyler.
yeah, Charlotte, Tyler, yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Cousin Ty. He's a cool guy.
Cousin
Met
Ty,
him. I met him at the wedding. He's dope as heck. Um,
good kid.
so you're there roughly 2 in the afternoon, maybe a little before. Was the Sabres game that night?
The Sabres game was that day, so we
That day.
literally like grabbed them and then drove to Buffalo, like downtown, parked, went to the game. Game started at 3. It was great. And also because it was preseason, we just got tickets like right by the glass, so we were like 6 rows up,
Oof,
which was
nice.
that was fun. Like the games, it was just kind of like, hey, let's do a little double dip while we're in Buffalo. And even though it was preseason, it was kind of like a fun thing to do on a Saturday.
Double dip in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Sounds spicy. Okay, so let's talk about the Sabres game. What was the atmosphere? I know it's preseason, but you guys, that city, what was it? What
I
was it like in
mean,
there?
it was kind of funny because obviously the arena's like less than half full, and it's like the organization, everybody's just getting into the swing of like doing things. So like the second we get in there and they start playing music, it's like 100 times louder than it should be because there's like nobody in the arena.
Well,
And you're
that's
just
funny.
like, oh my God. Like so everything was like a little bit more jarring, like even being that close to the ice, it's just like, whoa, this is pretty wild. They actually went down 3-0 real early and made a
Classic.
comeback in the yeah, classic Sabres, but then made a comeback in the third and went on a 4-goal run. And
Oh,
they capped off with the rookie Zach Benson scoring the game-winning goal. So that
whoa.
was fun.
That is
And
fun. Yeah, it's giving real
the
Florida Panther vibes.
yeah, it was just a good time. And they the crowd obviously is not like super into it because there's hardly anybody there, but they went ahead and played the Bills shout song and the whole vibe changed. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
So
So that leads me. So first of all, how do you think they're going to do this year? Just you don't have to get too into the details
the
of the
Sabres.
team. Yeah, because I know you can kind of dissect what's going on and how you think
Oh
they're going to
yeah.
fare. Can you just give me like a broad brushstroke? Like, are we looking at a playoff team this year?
I think we're absolutely looking at a playoff team, and I can say that with confidence finally in the first time in maybe 10 years. So, yeah, I
Oh,
do. I think they've got their goalie now. He's super young. We'll see how that works. Obviously you need two goalies now more than anything, but this kid looks legit. He's I think his stats put him as the third best college goalie in basic history. His projection is super high,
Mm.
and they've got talent up and down the roster. So, and they're super young, and they've got a really great coach who knows how to coach young kids. So they've got all these right things working for them. And I know I'm a broken record, but they missed the playoffs by 2 points last year. They got this goalie now. I think they make the jump.
No, that's great. This is the first time you're sharing it with the listeners. So even though I've heard that more than once, it's all good.
You didn't need to share that.
Well, you're the editor, so maybe it makes it in, maybe it doesn't. I want to also gauge, like, so I went to Buffalo with you last year. We watched
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
That's
right. We watched what was then the Washington football team get completely thrashed by the Bills. Yeah. And it was fun. I wore my Fitzmagic shirt because I thought it was pretty neutral. Ben was just a riot the whole time. You were in your element. It was cool to see Buffalo. But what most stuck out to me about that trip was how much that town revolves around the Bills.
Yeah.
And so, like, I do want to dive into that further. But for right now, I just want to ask, what would you guess of the people who went to the Sabres game, how many of them were at the Bills game the next day?
Wow. I would say like probably
all of them.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel that way. And the funny thing was, just to piggyback off of that, was in our section and a few sections over, there was like 3 or 4 like Dolphin fans. And I'm just like, that's such like an odd flex.
Yeah, a little head scratcher. I'll venture a guess as to say that's just them being cocky and being like, since there's nothing to do in Buffalo, we might as well just go to a preseason game. So Sabres win out of nowhere. And then what do you do Saturday night?
Saturday night, we just drove back to Rochester, which, like I said, is about an hour and change. And then got dinner at an old bar that my aunt used to work at years ago.
Let's shout it out. What's the name?
I might be getting this wrong, but I think it's called the Winfield. And it was a really cool spot. It's just very simple bar, like giant U-shaped bar in a square room or rectangle room, and TVs every 2 feet above on every single wall. It was like wherever you stood, you could see a TV. It was a very simple layout, but very effective. And we got some dinner. I was there with my cousin, who's 27, 28 almost. So, he knows everybody. He knows the bartender.
Nice.
All of his boys are there. So eventually the old men left us, and we kind of just spent the rest of the night drinking and playing darts, which, sounds appropriate.
At that spot?
At that spot. And then we went to 2 other places.
Okay.
Yeah.
2. Okay. So
I couldn't tell you their names.
But mini bar crawl with the cuz and his boys.
Mini bar crawl with the cuz. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Shout out Tyler.
And shout out Tyler. He's got some really good friends too. Like, cool. They're like, we heard so much about you. Like, you're not paying for a single drink all night, so it was like class, all the way. And it was a fun time.
That's cool. That's great. So you're not a big drinker. Let's say Sunday morning, are you in tip-top shape, or are you a little less than perfect?
I'll be honest with you. I was off my game pretty strong. Okay. I wasn't anticipating the amount of drinks purchased for me the night before. So I may have had 4 to 5 whiskey doubles throughout the night. Yeah. I closed one of the bars down. It was just one of those evenings. And then we get to the game, and it's like standstill traffic for close to an hour because they're building the new stadium. So things are a little messed up there. But it was a little touch and go for a bit, but made it through.
All right, so then let's just fast forward to the game. So I saw on the gram and through pictures, you had the pizza oven at the tailgate.
Hell yeah.
Okay, help me out. How many pizzas did you make? Who was in the forget that. Who was in the tailgate crew?
It was the 4 of us, and then my uncle had 2 other buddies who were there.
Nice.
I've been good, like, me, like I used to be a season ticket holder. My dad did when I was really young. So like the tailgates have always kind of shifted in shapes and sizes, but most of the time it's around like 10 people. That was the crew this time. There was just a few of us. I cranked out about 4 pizzas. Details. Tailgate next to us. Kept it simple. When you get there, it's a lot to set up, but before you know it, it's like I gotta I got to get to the game because it's going to be like 30 minutes to get into the stadium.
Yeah, you got to
So
start
like
breaking
you've
down
got
the
this,
pizza. Yeah, the
yeah,
pizza
yeah,
oven.
yeah.
So okay, so how basic are we talking? Cheese pizzas?
Cheese, pepperoni, basil, red sauce. I usually make my own dough. I didn't even bother with it because I was driving from New York and it was, all craziness. So I just bought dough and I made about four. I sold one to a tailgate next to us
You
who
sold
kept
it?
like hawking me. Yeah, they were like adamant too. I was like, I'll just make you. It's really okay. So
Wait,
that
how much do
was
they give you?
$20.
No.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it was
amazing.
really nice. It was just like they were just like cool as shit, and you know what the tailgates are like there.
Oh yeah, that was so
And
fun.
it's just wild, man. I mean, even on the way to the stadium, there was a tailgate that you could tell wasn't even going into the game. They came, paid for parking, and they had a giant pickup truck, huge speakers, blasting in sync with about 12 people crammed in the back of the truck, just like rocking out and just like getting everybody on the way into the stadium amped up. It was hilarious.
That's epic.
Yeah.
Did you see at the tailgate, did you see any tables get dismantled?
I saw one failed attempt, so that was a little,
Mm.
it is what it is.
What did a
Look good.
failed attempt look like? What was
Not
what?
every table is made the same. A failed attempt is there's a good 30 people already waiting for this to happen, and it happens, and they're just the throw and the weight of the person. It just does not do the table justice, and the table wins. So that's usually what it looks like.
That's amazing. That just reminds me of the story when we were there last year. It was us and Ben, and we were at your tailgate, and there's a couple guys who, are just kind of like meandering around. And this one guy, big dude, he's like, "Where are you guys from? What's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, like don't
Yeah.
tell anyone. I'm actually a Washington fan. I'm here in undercover." We're just
Yeah.
we're just literally talking about. I was like, I got to see someone go through a table, like,
Yeah.
we're
You
here.
were contemplating it. You're like, do I do it?
Yeah, my plan was to get Ben to do it. So I was like, man, I would do it. I would do it. And I kept on saying it exclusively around Ben for him to, because he's usually the one who gets a little loose. And I figured there'd be a good chance for him to pick that up and be like, man, I'll do it too. And so it didn't end up happening. So whatever, it was an attempt.
It was okay. It
But,
was a good moment.
yeah, Ben and I were right next to this guy. I think you were there too. Guy's like, oh, yeah, you want to see it, right? I was like, we got to see someone go through a table. He was so casually, do you remember this? He was so casually, he was
Yeah.
like, I would throw you through a table. There's a table right here. I would throw
You
you.
did say that.
Yeah, he's like, there's one right here. I would throw you through that
It's
table. It was like he was really trying to do me a favor. He was like,
he was.
this is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, let's
Absolutely. You got to go through the table, bro.
let's do it. I'll choke slam you right here, right now. It's like so. And like
Yeah.
it was the only time. And by the way, like there was not a single moment where I was thinking this is mean spirited. The whole thing was like he was just trying to help.
No, it was like almost like a communion or a bris or something. It was just
Right.
like I would happily make that moment for you if you
Which
would
is
like.
totally fair because the way I was
Yeah.
talking about it with such high standing, I was like almost like it was a religious
Yeah.
thing.
It's
We
always a
should,
good time there though.
maybe we should go to the Washington. Oh no, never mind. Maybe we'll put good. Someone's gonna get through a table one of these days. I'm gonna.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
So the hype around the game was you guys are looking great, and you're playing the Dolphins, who had just beaten the crap out of Denver, 70-20. Obviously, it's a division game. Last year, you guys played each other twice, and it was
Three times.
Oh, that's right. Once in the playoffs. Three great games. The two regular season games were both like back and forth all the time. It
Yeah.
was like a lot of action. So the energy around it was there any like were there nerves? Were there like, oh, I hope they don't go crazy? Or was it kind of like a confidence, like, no, we should be good? Like what were the vibes there?
I would say like, and this is a big difference between the two fan bases. Like they've each gone through so much. I mean, they've been terrible forever. We've had our Super Bowl woes and have been terrible, and we've been dysfunctional. And obviously now both franchises are on the other side of that, which is really great. But how each fan base acts is very interesting to me. And the Buffalo contingency, and I feel like I can speak to this because I have lived in South Florida for close to a decade, and I know the vibe in both of these markets. And the vibe of Buffalo is always anything can always happen. It doesn't, even though we're up 3 scores, the game isn't over until it's over. So the vibe going into that game was very much like, this is a good Dolphins team and we need to be on our shit. And it was a little tense to start, but I would say from kickoff, from Drew Bledsoe was there leading the charge. They had the
No.
entire Sabres team on the field to say hey to everybody, and then like got greeted individually by Josh Allen. They like captured the whole thing for everybody. It was a
Ah.
really cool moment for everybody there because obviously everybody's a Sabres fan too. So there was a lot of great pregame stuff that happened. And I have to be honest with you, I've been going to games since 1997. I've probably gone to dozens. I mean, there have been a lot.
Mm.
A lot of it. I was there for the new owner's first game. I was there for the Flutie Miracle in '98, where they did the bootleg. This was the loudest fucking game I have ever been to in my life. It was absolutely deafening. It was wild, and it was consistent. Although it just got louder and louder the more the Bills took over the game. And that's just who we are. We always know that there could be something bad around the corner, but we're always there to support. So where the Dolphins fans, I hate to say it, they love to puff their chest out. They love to win the offseason. They love to put the cart before the horse. And you got to take down the champ before you can be the champ.
Yeah, and let's quickly defend some Dolphins fans because there are good ones out there, but any of the ones that we know personally are not those people. I know one. I know one who's like a realistic fan, but he's not in our friend group. He's in another.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. For the most part, a lot of chest puffing, for sure. There's a lot of that. Okay, so then take us through the game itself. Right.
Mhm.
Obviously, great first half, a lot of back and forth, and the second half kind of got wild. What were some moments? In fact, just bring up one. If you can just do one, what was one moment that really stood out to you?
I think the game-changing moment is easily the Diggs 50-yarder
That
where he breaks the
his
two
second
tackles.
touchdown.
His second.
Mhm.
That really put the Bills up enough where I think it made it almost out of hand. And it really just, I think, momentum-wise, just killed whatever the Dolphins had going. The first quarter, it looked like the game was going to be a shootout, kind of what everybody was predicting. But being there live is always different, that, and you see things that you don't see on the TV broadcast. And, I got to be honest, Tua got bailed out on a lot of throws. He had a dropped pick. He had an overthrow on Mostert that he made an incredible one-handed grab on the sideline, where it's like all you can do is tip your cap to. I mean, the whole stadium was just like, what are you going to do? But the throw was questionable. And so you could
Yeah, he underthrew it a little
building.
bit, which is consistent. Yeah.
You could kind of see it building. So I think really when the Diggs touchdown happened, the game became a lot different.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, shout out Terps. Go Terps. Buffalo Terps connection. Stephon Diggs. Come on, man. Everyone knows that's my guy. Come on. Let's go Terps. Yeah, he had a monster game, 3 tuds, and I think it was over 120. And that was a big turning point. Is that also the corner that you were in? Like,
oh yeah, it
right
was
in
like
front of
right
you.
below. It was like right in front of us.
It's so cool.
And it was just like, whoa, holy shit! He's already got like 10 yards of separation after he broke those tackles. It was like goodbye.
He's so good.
So it was an insane play to see live.
He's special, man. Like,
He's special.
we
And
were
the beer. I don't know if you saw the beer.
Oh yeah, the beer. Was that on that play?
I think it was. I think it was. I want to go back and double check, but I mean, just iconic.
Where he slams the 2
Iconic.
beers together. Obviously, he's not drinking them. So mafia.
It was great. It was a great moment.
All right, so the game's crazy. You've dominated. You've won. My favorite part about going to the game with you last time was leaving the stadium because that was just how wild it was. You're going to play that song over and over again. We'll just loop it right here, right now. The Bills make me want to shout. Right? So just kind of walk us through like the energy surrounding the win, the relief. What were you feeling?
I think like, in a game like this where it's like everybody plays so well, it takes a moment to be like, what just happened, but at the end of the day, I think the reality is, obviously you can look at Allen playing arguably one of his best games of his career.
Mm-hmm.
On the flip side, we've been talking about offenses for a really long time, offensive gurus, coaching trees of offensive gurus, whether it's Andy Reid or, now Mike McDaniel coming from the Shanahan tree and whatnot. But I think, Buffalo really has a defensive guru, and he really, he put the league on blast, I think, with the game on Sunday. And he's been the only person to stop this Dolphins team. And he did it very impressively, especially live. It was like, whoa, they've got things dialed in and they're not afraid of this team 1 ounce. So I think all the flowers go to McDermott for this game.
Love it. So what I want to do right now is pull up the Buffalo Bills schedule. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So the question that I have at the top of my mind for you, as a Bills fan, just went to this game, 48-20 against Miami. You're 3-1. Your only loss was a questionable loss to the Jets, which was just a weird, murky overtime game that should have been like an Aaron Rodgers game, and it suddenly was not. And then there was whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. You guys, you look great. You're a Bills fan. Super Bowl, but like cautious optimism, but still like Super Bowl. And I'm looking at your schedule, and I'm thinking, when's their next loss? So I want you to look very carefully and actually predict where your next loss is going to be.
I think it's easy to say week 12 or week 13.
14.
14, thank
There's
you.
a bye between those two. That's all good.
If I had to split them, though, I think they do beat the Chiefs and they lose to the Eagles.
Okay, so
but yeah, I think that's potentially their next one.
So you really think that they can get through Jacksonville, the Giants, at New England, Tampa, Cincy, Denver, Jets revenge game, win all 6 of those games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those games.
Yeah.
And then go into Philly, and that would be their first potential loss?
I think so. I don't think Josh has ever played there. It's on the road. They'd maybe be due for a loss at that point. So I wouldn't be surprised. But listen, I honestly think they could beat literally anybody. So it's just going to come down to them and what they do.
Right.
You
think it's more likely that they beat themselves as opposed to another team takes them down?
1,000%. And I think anybody's knock on the Bills or Allen is that. It's like sometimes you just don't know what game you're going to get.
You bring up an interesting possibility. Let's say you're correct. We're looking at 10-1 Buffalo, and they lose to the Eagles. They get a bye week, and then they go at Kansas City, where they've lost twice in a row.
No, they beat them in the regular season on the road last year.
Oh yeah. So listen. So let's just say they're 10-2. They just lost to Philly. They got a bye week, and it's December 10th. Should we go to Kansas City for this game?
1,000%, Scott.
It's the game of the year. It's December 10th. I have a connection to Kansas City. We can go to the game.
I know.
We'll have an amazing time at the tailgate. I might even wear Buffalo gear. I would get a Diggs because that's my guy. Go Terps.
Yeah.
And I think I can get away with that without betraying my Washington fandom.
Does that game sound intriguing in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Or does week 15 sound intriguing in Buffalo against Dallas?
I'd so much rather go to Kansas City. I get where you're going for. My hatred of Dallas. Sure. But I actually have some connections to Dallas this year. So,
but I would say that this is their gauntlet. I would loop in the Jets. I would loop in week 11 because that's a good defense, But I would loop in, from week 11 to really the end of the season. It's a gauntlet for them. So we'll see what that half of the schedule shakes out. But I definitely think they get on a bit of a streak here.
Now let's move off of the Bills Mafia mayhem. All right.
Yeah.
It's time to get serious, Jordan.
Sure.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Some people who listen to the podcast religiously will know that you are the audio engineer and de facto director of this podcast, that your audio skills are unmatched, and you are probably, some were saying, the next Paul McCartney.
Okay, cool.
Some are saying.
Love to see it.
I don't know who that was.
I'm hearing whispers.
Yeah, I mean, the way he plunks around, it's just really
It's just
similar.
clunk, yeah.
I want to know, this is something I actually never found out, even though I lived with you while you've been pursuing this and I've known you so long. What made you want to become an audio engineer?
Wow. Okay, so I have always loved music, first and foremost. That's always been there in my life. The only other musician in my family was my grandfather, who I never met. And the big connection there was everybody in my family says how similar I am to him.
Hmm.
And he was a jazz piano player. He played the bugle in the army. He was a musician. And I felt like I always had some sort of connection with him through that. And, you know, learned guitar at a young age. When I moved to Florida, I wanted nothing more than to just be in a band. So that had happened. And um, I think when I went to FAU, where we met, I had entertained the idea of audio engineering, but was really into like creative writing. So I thought, oh, I could be like a music journalist. And I just didn't really love it. And I just kind of felt like, well, I'd rather, instead of criticizing what people are doing creatively, I'd rather help them achieve it. So that's kind of where I felt like audio engineering was like a nice vehicle to accomplish that. So I love that. I did used to like be on a stage and play occasionally, but the older I got, I was just like, I'm not really that guy. But I do love creating music. I love helping people make whatever project they're working on sound as best as possible. So whether it's music or a short film or a radio commercial, like whatever it is, I just love it.
When you were growing up and you were in a band,
Yeah.
what was the style of that band? What was the name too?
Style was like pop piano rock.
Can I say yacht rock?
No, I wouldn't say yacht rock. It was like we were like 15 and 16, so it was very like poppy. We had sometimes three-part harmonies going on. Yeah, two of the guys in my band were like in a musical theater, so like it
Mm.
was kind of like a little
Yeah, you were
I don't
using the
know.
tools you had.
We weren't just some like garage punk band just like banging out chords. We were like, trying to make it a thing. Yeah. So I was just the bass player.
What ages were you in this band?
We did it from 50, basically from sophomore year to senior year of high school. So like 15 to 16 to 18.
I'm gonna somehow pivot off of this. You said your grandpa played the bugle in the army.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cr- that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. He
What,
used to do revelry every morning for everybody.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And the coolest thing actually is he was also in like a jazz band in the army,
Okay.
so like as entertainment. And there is a picture of him playing piano, like Top Gun style. He's playing piano, the whole band is like cramped on stage, and it's like this great photo. And my parents framed that picture side by side with me and my band when I was younger, and
No,
we look identical. It's kind of freaky.
that's cool.
So it's a cool
Wow.
photo.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah,
That's so cool. Okay, so if anyone is listening who would want to check you out, what's
yeah.
something that you'd recommend they look at? Maybe I can link it in the show notes.
Yeah, you can just either go to my Instagram or website. Both are Central Park Sound, either at Central Park Sound or centralparksound.com. And I don't update it as much as I should, but that's just because I am busy. So that is a good thing. But yeah, you can see some of the stuff I do. I've actually been doing some live sound at a jazz club. I think I started back in May, so that's been a lot of fun. And yeah, I just kind of if there's audio involved, I I'll do it. So
Yeah. So, by the way, you just mentioned, Central Park Sound. This is your
yeah,
own production company that
yeah,
you created, and
hmm
you know, first of all, big inspiration to me as your buddy, watching you do this, seeing you have success with it,
thanks, man.
watching you work your tush off. Um, it's really, it's really inspiring. Obviously, I've started this podcast with your help. I
Yeah,
have my own NIL company, whatever. I've done my own little ventures as well. And the inspiration behind starting your own company, personally, I know that's extremely challenging, sometimes difficult,
hmm
maybe intimidating. what what led you to have take that leap of faith?
I think a lot of different things. I think timing definitely played a big factor, and the pandemic played a big factor, which I think a lot of people can relate to. Really, though, I think, working in New York is, or any big city,
Hmm.
it's definitely tricky to navigate. And you work for a lot of different people, you work with a lot of different people from all different backgrounds, and you see how a lot of businesses operate,
Hmm.
and you learn a lot of lessons. And I think I had a few too many bad experiences from just working for places that just weren't managed properly or just had some shortcomings. And I felt like in order to survive as an audio engineer in the city, I really couldn't be complacent with being like, I'm just going to stay in this lane and do this. Because to be honest with you, there just wasn't enough money there for me to sustain a living. So I really felt like it was like learning from all these different people and business owners, lessons, good things, bad things, and then also having a lot of experiences where it's like, I don't really want to work for somebody who's going to not have my best interests in play. So both of those things combined with, certain other opportunities that I had, and obviously the pandemic happening and whatnot,
Hmm.
definitely played like a big factor.
No question. In a similar way, it's how I got started, just
Yeah,
in terms of the pandemic being a
right.
big factor and timing. Obviously,
Yeah,
timing's everything, but that's okay. So, first of all, or not even first of all, just to reiterate, super proud of you for doing
thank you. Thanks, man.
the all the work that you're doing. I mean, I know you have your hand in a lot of different jars and you're doing all sorts of stuff in the space just from what I've, in conversation, catching up. What are you up to? What's going on? Oh yeah, I'm, helping this guy with a podcast. I'm helping them do an audio book. Oh, I'm, mixing for a band. Going to a live show tonight and I don't even know what that's called, where you go to the show and you're in the you're
Yeah,
watching the
live
band
sound.
live sound. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're doing that.
yeah, yeah.
Like it's all so cool. And
Thanks, man.
you know, I don't have like a comprehensive understanding of any of it, but
It's okay.
I see how hard you work, and unless you're completely faking it, you are really doing you're really doing a great
Thanks,
amount.
man.
So again, just super proud of you. Just wanted to get that out and do it publicly so that no one can deny it. Um,
Well, the feeling's mutual. I've definitely been here since the beginning, and I'm proud of you too. I think what you're doing is really awesome.
this isn't about me. Thank you. All right, let's since we're talking about publicly discussing, I want to shift that slightly to publicly admonishing. Um,
Hmm.
do you remember the wedding speech I gave for you?
How could I forget?
Is there anything that spoke to you? Is there anything that you can remember from that speech?
Is this you just wanting me to say the first line for everybody so you can give
No,
yourself?
definitely not the first line. Is there anything else that you can remember?
Obviously the height joke, we're
That was good.
basically the same height, so
Yes.
that one, it's fine. It's a
Yes, I
thing.
called you much, much shorter than me, even though we're within
And
an inch of each other.
you were standing, I was sitting. I didn't have the benefit to be like, he's obviously kidding, so
Yeah.
fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, because that joke
I think,
especially got a laugh from our buddies who knows the truth. So they were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
they were loving that.
No, you
Um,
crushed it though.
that was so fun. At some point I'm gonna post that speech. I'm actually hoping to do it on your anniversary on the 1 year, which is coming up
I
really soon.
got you. I
Yeah.
got you. I
Oh,
know
do you
you're
have
waiting
a?
on me for the footage.
Well,
Yeah,
I have a partial. Our buddy Lermsky, he has a lot of it, but he missed the first
yeah.
joke. Don't really need it.
I got you. No, you need that. You need that.
All right, I guess
That's the whole.
we'll let
Listen,
the
for another
we'll,
time, but yeah.
yeah, we'll let the viewers decide. Speaking of your lovely wife, Jen,
Hmm. Yes.
JD, uh, I mean, she's the best. I'm not even going to get into that. You guys recently started something together that I want to plug.
Hmm.
It's maybe you could kind of explain it better than what I'm about to do. Why don't you walk us through what you guys are embarking on together right now in the digital world?
In the digital world. So we just basically started a YouTube channel. Like, wow, really revolutionary. But
And
we just went.
what is this YouTube? What is this?
Yeah, what is this YouTube? But we got married about a year ago, but waited until basically June to take our honeymoon.
Hmm.
And so we did that recently, and we used a bunch of credit card points and tried to go to as many cities as we could and hotels and stuff. And we just decided, like, after doing all this research and not being able to find much information on a lot of hotels, like, why don't we be the ones to do it? So we would, we stayed in each city for about 3 or 4 days. And for about an hour or two on one of those days, we would just do like a hotel tour and review. And we're just basically like trying to create content around that and have it be like travel and lifestyle focused and just, see what happens. So it was a lot of fun. And a lot of the places we stayed at were like not only amazing, like just great places to stay, but like super affordable and places we felt like people should know about this. So that was kind of the whole idea.
Yeah, like why are these incredible and affordable places like hard to understand how accessible they are?
Well, and I think like, you're so accustomed to, I think, traveling maybe within the United States where yeah, your town in Denver could be much different from your town in New York, but a Marriott is a Marriott. It's like you know what you're kind of in for, where it's like when you go to a new country, it's like, yeah, I can look at all the pictures in the world online, but I just don't know. I just don't know if I want to take that risk still flying all the way over there and having it be a bad experience. So we just noticed that a lot of these hotels didn't have a lot of video reviews or good ones. So that's kind of what we thought we would do. So it was a
By the
lot
way,
of fun.
your content that you guys are putting out is really good. My
Thank you.
one thing is just put out more. It's
I know
you
it
keep
takes some
hit
time, but yeah.
you keep hitting. It's great. So the
Yes.
channel, for those of you who want to subscribe, and I highly recommend, they're a great follow. And obviously, I'm biased, but I am correct. Is Jenn and Jordan, JENN ampersand Jordan with a little space in between the ampersand and the names. Go check that out. Oh, sorry, no, it's not even an ampersand. It's at Jenn and Jordan. I got that wrong.
Yeah, at Jenn and Jordan, the channel's page just over the ampersand. It doesn't matter.
The
You'll
channel's
find
page
us.
does. Yeah, yeah, okay. But yeah, go to YouTube at Jenn and Jordan, JENNAND JORDAN. Go check that out. Like, subscribe, check out their content. If you don't like it, comment why. If you do like it, comment that you like it, what you like
Yeah,
about it.
comedy. Yeah, it's fine. It's good for engagement.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your enemies.
I
This
had
is.
somebody I had somebody comment, "Take your hand out of your pocket." And I go, "Okay,
And now you
sure."
know.
And now I'll just leave my hand out of my pocket. No.
Yeah, that
Uh,
sounded like a critical thing, but what are they doing? They're being informative.
yeah, they are. They are. They're letting
Incredible.
us know how to be better.
Yeah, you get to see
But
them go all around the world and review these
but
incredible places from Santorini to Los Angeles, the best burger in America. Was I there that night? I don't know. I think I might have been.
you may have been. You may have
Yeah,
been.
Houston's Arsenal. Shout out.
Yeah,
Uh, and yeah, like just anything to support my guy.
I love it.
I'll do it. I literally have two YouTube channels myself. Subscribed on both.
Love it.
Um, and and I genuinely like I go through all the little videos of all the people that I'm subscribed to, and then I see you guys because I know you guys. It's personal to me. I'm like, oh, like look who it is. It's
Yeah,
great. It's great,
awesome.
and
Thanks,
you guys
man.
don't miss. So it's fun. And I love watching
Sometimes.
you specifically like put your hand in your pocket because I'm just like, oh, you gotta get that hand out of the pocket. And then I have something to comment on from one of my burner
This
accounts.
fucking asshole. Yeah.
Any closing thoughts you want to share with those listeners who tolerate me on a weekly basis?
This camera, this camera, this camera. Tolerate you on a weekend? No, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I know most of people, people come here for the athletes, and it's good to be recognized after all this hard work I've been putting in for it. No,
No
it's
question.
been a lot of fun, and I always enjoy helping out and the conversations that you do on the regular. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of you doing conversations with these athletes and just the whole space really I think is super interesting. So I know nothing about it, so I appreciate you not even like asking me too much about it. I know the broad strokes enough to help you out, but
You know your
you know
stuff.
I'm all about any Bills and Sabres talk, so I can do that any day of the week.
I was just gonna say, if I get one of the Bills or the Sabres on the pod at some point, are you gonna co-host with me?
Co-host, I'll buy a ticket and I'll fly to you and we'll do it together.
Oh, heck yeah. Now we're talking. Now we're
No, I
talking.
would I would love to. That would be amazing.
Cool. Oh, well, look, I love you, brother. You're my guy. You know that. Thank you so much for being on here today.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I'm a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. It can't be overstated. We talk all the time. I'm so grateful. And, I'll smell you later. That's it.
All right. See you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for being here. We'll catch you later.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Whoa. Well, there you have it. That was the incredible, the tenacious, the inspiring Jordan Schiff. Guys, I'm so glad I was able to share my conversation with Jordan with all of you. Honestly, I'm excited to have him on the pod already. I want to get him back. So I didn't say it, but Jordan, you're welcome back anytime. Hopefully you'll hear this while you're editing it. I appreciate all that you do for us. Again, thanks so much. I thought that was very funny. Guys, that was great. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any feedback, please let us know. We're looking to get better. We're going to be doing a lot more episodes coming up. I'm going to start bringing on friends, colleagues, acquaintances, and then, of course, athlete after athlete after athlete. I'm going to get them on, and hopefully we're going to have some very exciting guests throughout the seasons and just keep it pumping and rolling and see where this journey goes. You got to enjoy the journey, folks. Quickly, I do want to do a new segment, all right? This is called It Could Happen. Are you a sports bettor? Are you gambling on sports? Shame. Shame. Honestly, this is a slippery slope, but if you're like me and you really enjoy it, I've got some tips for this Thursday night, all right? This Thursday night, I'm calling it the It Could Happen parlay. It could happen, all right? We're looking at a parlay, all right? We're looking at 4 things that will get you 12.5 to 1 odds. If all 4 of these things happen, all 4, not 3, but all 4 of them happen, and you bet $10, you will walk away with your $10 bet and an additional $125. Am I doing that math right? If you bet $100, are you rich? Are you betting $100 on 4 things to happen? That's crazy. You will get back $1,250. This is my It Could Happen bet. Am I guaranteeing this bet? No. Am I going to make it on my own? Absolutely. Do I know this is going to happen? Of course not. Do I believe this is going to happen? I kind of do. This is my It Could Happen bet. We're looking at 4 things. Here it comes. You ready? Are you ready? We're looking at Brian Robinson on Thursday Night Football. This is all Thursday Night Football. Okay? And yes, I am a Commanders fan, so a little bias coming at you. But here it comes. Brian Robinson, 64 rushing yards. Brian Robinson, 1 touchdown. 64 yards and a touchdown. Seems doable. Are the Bears the worst defense in the NFL right now? Only statistically. Are they consistently giving up a lot of yards to teams who aren't very good or teams that are very good? Yeah. Which one of those categories do Washington fall into? At least one of them. It's kind of up to you. Justin Fields, 1 interception. Is he going to get picked off? Is he? It could happen. And then the last leg of this parlay is a touchdown from the other side of the field. DJ Moore, go Terps. DJ Moore has played 4 games against Washington since going pro out of the University of Maryland. He's played 4 games in Washington. He has scored in 2 of those games. This is a coin flip. He could either score a touchdown or he could not score a touchdown, but I guarantee you it's going to be one of those 2 things. I believe Thursday night, primetime game, he's going to go in there and score a touchdown. It could happen. These are my picks. Do with it what you will, but if I win and you don't bet on it because you didn't believe in me, I hope you believe in me next time. Anyway, guys, thank you again so much for joining me, for listening to this podcast. I hope you have enjoyed it. I absolutely love making these, so thanks again so much. And that's really all I got. Please rate, review, let us know how we're doing. If you got any issues with the show, We want to hear about it. If you like something about the show, let us know. Reinforce it. Maybe we'll continue to do it. If you just have any thoughts on it in general, please share. Please do. Everything is welcomed. Again, you guys are the best. Thanks again. And good luck. Good luck to everybody in the upcoming situation, whatever you're about to root for. It's going to be a big weekend, so I'm excited. And Thursday Night Football, I'm going to be watching it, possibly with one of my best friends, Zach. If we're watching this game together and we're going to be locked in, it should be a lot of fun. The It Could Happen bet, the very first one, it's going to be live, in action. Me and my buddy Zach going to be rooting for it. Let's see how it goes. How much am I putting on it? None of your business. This podcast is hosted and produced by Scott Eisenstadt and co-produced by Central Park Sound. Audio production, editing, and theme song by Jordan Schiff. Make sure to rate and review this episode, and if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and follow The Scouting Report wherever you listen to podcasts.